Chris Morrow at ComicCon at Home. My home is on a boat behind the San Diego Convention Center. And this panel is Brandon Sanders. It's a spotlight. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I hear that in the panel that you gave a lot of spoilers. So
I
let's
did
start
give
off
some
with that.
spoilers. Well, that's something we do every year when we at Comic-Con and things like that is I always like to read something that people couldn't get anywhere else. And so I read them a scene from the book that's not coming out till November. So yay.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So where are you at home?
I'm at home in American Fork, Utah, which is a little suburb south of Salt Lake City.
Very nice. And tell us about your new book.
Well, I write epic fantasy, giant epic fantasy novels, which is what I love to do. And this is book 4 in a series I've been releasing since 2010. So there is a lot of fan excitement and expectation. It's about 3 years since the last book came out. So that is what I do. Big old, massive epic fantasy novels.
So for those that are not familiar with you, if you can actually, just talk about the first couple of books and where it's kind of leading to.
Stormlight Archive is the story of a young man who is trained as a surgeon in a kind of medieval era epic fantasy world, who gets recruited and forced to go to war as kind of a cannon fodder style, running bridges basically is what he does so that the troops can ride across and fight. And it's really his story as the son of a surgeon. As he learns he's actually really good at war, really good at fighting and killing people, and kind of his conflict as a person. I'm really fascinated by the idea of medicine in earlier eras where people would look at someone who is a surgeon and be like, oh, that's just magic. That's just, we don't trust that. We'd rather trust, this person that gives us a potion to drink, which doesn't do anything, right? Like the way that in many ways science was treated as superstition and superstition was treated as science back in the day. That just fascinated me. So I started reading up on medieval surgeons and things like that, and designed this character, Kaladin, who goes to war. And we're following his story across these books as different things happen to him, not to give spoilers, but he's the primary character of the series.
Did you find that in the pandemic that your creativity flowed more or less?
So for me, it's been a little bit more, mostly because I've been able to do a lot of events like this at home, and it hasn't interrupted my work schedule nearly as much as flying out would be. As much as I miss being there and going to the dealer's hall and stuff like that, it is better for the work rhythm if I can stop in the evening and do a cool event and then go right back to work the next day without airplanes being involved.
So the Comic-Con at Home, was the panel larger because it's at home, or do you feel that it was a little bit smaller?
Well, it's tough for me to judge, right? Like, I suppose my publicist will know how many people were actually watching and things like that. I really like the energy of a crowd. It's fun. Writing is such a solitary art that it's enjoyable to get up on a panel and have a room full of people that you can be like, wow, these are people who have read my books, who I'm really excited to actually see them, where we normally just kind of, I write it and then off somewhere they read it. But at the same time, it is super convenient. It can reach more people. I would be surprised if it didn't reach more people, because a lot of the panels I'll do at Comic-Con, people can't get in the room, right? It depends on, who's on the panel and things like that. But a lot of my panels at Comic-Con will just be, you wait for several hours and the room fills and you don't get in. And this way you don't have that problem.
Can you talk about your writing process?
Sure. So I am a night writer. I really like to write at nights. During the years breaking in as a fantasy novelist, I had a graveyard shift at a hotel, and I would work that graveyard shift and I would write books. And so for me, even still, a lot of my best work time is from about 10 until 2 a.m. And I usually do 2 sessions. I'll get up at around noon and I'll write from around 1 until 5. And then I'll hang out with my family until they all go to bed at around 10. And then 10 until 2, I'll do another session.
And then what about any advice for the younger generation coming up and that want to be a writer? What would you give them?
So There's never been a better time to be a writer, actually. Statistically, more people are making a living at writing now than ever have in the history of the world. So there's never been a better time. It is also means there's a lot of noise. It's a lot harder in some ways to break in because there are so many wonderful things out there drawing people's attention. If you are an aspiring writer, I would point you toward my YouTube channel. I record my university lectures and post them. And so if people want to watch a long-winded series on how to write epic fantasy, you can go watch that. But my main tip to you would be to just focus on finding your stories. Write the things that you want to read that no one else is writing. Focus on making those stories great, and then you will find an audience.
Great. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Nope. This is, I'm sad to be missing San Diego this year, but hopefully we'll be back next year and can do lots of fun things then.
How many times have you been to San Diego?
I've lost count, I'll be honest. Well, yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to reading it. I'm sorry that you couldn't give us the spoiler, but I will definitely go to the panel and check it out. Yeah.
Great.
This is Chris Morrow, ComicCon at Home. Thank you so much.
Take care.
That was great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So I love that that picture. Is it a painting behind you? What is that?
Yeah, it's from the end pages of one of my books. It's a character from one of the books. The end pages are like when you open it, what's in the front flap there. So yeah, it's the original, which we usually pick up and buy.
That's beautiful.
Just one of my novels.
Very beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yep, my pleasure. Take care.
San Diego!